We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
The road trip continues in the Motor City. It's game 2 between the Twins and the Tigers, with Minnesota still in the hunt for its first win of the season against tonight's hometown team. The Tigers have had their share of bumps and bruises this season, but things seem to be looking up. Since June 20th, they've posted a 15-9 record, the third best in Major League Baseball. And against the Twins, well, things couldn't go much better. Minnesota has been outscored 43-21 by the Tigers and have hit just 5 home runs compared to Detroit's 12. One of which was a deciding factor just last night. But tonight, it's Tommy Milone squaring off against Anibal Sanchez. Milone is 2-1 in his 4 starts since his return from Rochester, while Sanchez has bounced between the bullpen and a starting gig with a 5-10 record. Welcome to Detroit, everybody. I'm Audra Martin, and with yesterday's emotional day behind, the Twins now focus on the task at hand, which is what they hope to be their first win against Detroit this season. And for that to happen, they'll turn to Tommy Milone, who's had 2 impressive outings so far in July, and that's just been a part of why the starting rotation has had the best month so far this season. With a collective 7-4 record and a 3.47 ERA, it's been the best month we've seen in a while, and Paul Molitor says that's all due to finally finding the consistency that had been lacking the first 3 months.
I was looking at our innings pitched from our starters here over the past month, and you know it's a pretty good pattern. There's a lot of 6 innings performances, and you know that does wonders. We haven't had a lot of those real short ones as of late. It's given us a chance to kind of refresh some of our bullpen people just by our guys giving us more innings. So that's been the biggest trend. That's been an improvement. We're going deeper.
Coming up, Dick Bremer and Jack Morris talk a little Tuesday with Tommy and what to expect from the Twins starter tonight right here on Fox Sports North.
presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Jeep, the official vehicles of summer, celebrating 75 summers of living for by forever. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of it. It's another beautiful night for baseball in Detroit, and the Twins are hoping that tonight is the night that they can finally beat the Detroit Tigers. They've lost the first 7 games of the season series. And Tommy Milone will make the start for the Twins. He's pitched better as of late, picking up wins in his last 2 starts. Anibal Sanchez will make the start for the Tigers. He's having a terrible year, but traditionally he's pitched awfully well against the Minnesota Twins. And it is a gorgeous night for baseball. Glad you're with us for Twins TV. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris, and the Twins are hoping that they can continue to get good starting pitching and that Tommy Milone can continue to pitch well in the starting rotation.
Well, he has pitched well against this ball club, the Detroit Tigers, and that might be a plus for him tonight. He's coming off a couple good outings where he picked up wins, and momentum is a big thing for all pitchers. Tommy's got a little of that going for him right now. He's going to have to command his pitches. It's so important for him to pitch ahead in the count, but you can see what happens when he gets ahead. He can expand the zone. He's got good breaking ball. He's got good off-speed pitches, and he's got good movement. He just has to throw strikes early.
Now the Twins are hoping that the bats will start swinging the way they were before the All-Star break, as they hope to beat the Tigers tonight in Game 2. Gone, a home run, the 100th home run for the Twins on the season. Ball is back, that ball is gone. A grand slam for Max Kepler. Well, the Twins have struggled as of late scoring runs, but that certainly hasn't been the case for the last month when they've averaged nearly 6 runs a game. The problem has been, since the All-Star break, they've averaged just 2 runs a game in the 4 games that they played. And if they'd scored 2 last night, they'd have won the ball game. As we bring you Game 2 here at Comerica Park in Detroit, along with Audra Martin, Jack Morris, I'm Dick Bramer, and boy, gorgeous weather, 76 degrees, very pleasant evening, and Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can not only win a ball game here tonight, but still win the series. They had a nice little run right before the All-Star break, and they're hoping to get back to playing good baseball. Here's the Menards batting order. Eduardo Nunez leading things off. Robbie Grossman, Joe Mauer, Brian Dozier, Miguel Sano, Max Kepler, Kenny Vargas, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton.
And they will be facing the right-hander, Anibal Sanchez, making his 15th start. He's been in the pen. He's been in the rotation. He's back in the rotation here. He lost his last outing in Toronto, where he only pitched 4 innings. He's had a tough year, and the Twins really could pick up some momentum here by hopefully scoring some runs off him early. He hasn't got deep in a lot of his starts this year for the Tigers.
Nunez will lead things off. And he takes low, ball 1. Twins were blessed to have Nunez play so well and really hit well in the leadoff spot. And he's cooled off quite a bit since the All-Star break. And that's been one of the main reasons why this team has had a hard time scoring runs. He went into the break at .321, right now hitting .309. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, calling balls and strikes. Barry Gibson and Wendelstedt on the bases. There's a strike called, and it's 2-1.
Interesting, the thought about how well the Twins were hitting prior to the break and momentum and all those things, and then 4 days off, and they run into some good pitching.
Beautiful bunt. And Castellanos can pick it up, and that's all he can do. Had a chance to talk with Paul Molitor about bunting and some other things before the game today, and he frankly was discouraged that the Twins haven't bunted more than they have. Nunez with great speed, he puts it down, he's able to beat it out easily.
Well, you can't lay down a bunt better than that one right there, but Paul has a point. There's a lot of the younger players, Buxton and Santana, and a lot of the young players come out every day and take bunts early in their early batting practice, and yet during the game he's not seeing anybody really make attempts.
And now a high pickoff throw, and Nunez gets back to the bag. Robbie Grossman hitting second. It's been a disastrous year for Anibal Sanchez. In and out of the rotation. Walks are up. Hits are way up. And Grossman takes strike 1.
He's been a guy that's always been around the plate, but usually off the plate, and he's gotten a lot of swings and misses because guys expand the zone, are not patient with him. This year it seems like the hitters have been way more patient. He elevates the pitches because he has to. He's behind in counts, and then they're not missing those balls that are over the plate. It's been a rough year for him. You look at the record, the Tigers are only 7-15 in games in which he's pitched.
Nunez goes, and he's thrown out. McCann is very difficult to run against. He throws out more than half the stolen base attempts. And Nunez got a good jump, it appeared, but almost a pitch out and an easy throw for McCann to make.
Well, that's just it. We talked about Jared Saltalamacchia, who caught last night, and the fact that he has a little bit of an erratic arm. Well, not the same with James McCann. He has a very accurate throwing arm, and you couldn't have said it any better, really.
That's a close play. The Twins are contemplating a challenge here.
It was almost like a pitch out. He had plenty of time to throw it. I think Nunez kind of closed the gap there as he was approaching second base.
And the Twins pondering whether they should challenge here. It looked on replay as if Nunez's left hand might have gotten to the bag before the tag. And they're going to challenge in the first inning. In the second at bat, the Twins are taking a huge risk here. It was a good throw, and the tag was brought down, but let's check Nunez's hand. This should be the definitive. Boy, it's not, because you don't know where the glove touched.
Yeah, you can't
now you can, but see, you can. It looked like Iglesias dropped the glove down and didn't touch the runner.
Well, again, it's one of those plays where I don't know if there's conclusive evidence to overturn it. And I don't think I'll be surprised either way. They call him safe or out.
Well, this is. I believe there's an angle that Sean Harlan might have seen that we haven't seen yet that would indicate that Iglesias dropped the glove down and got nothing but air. Let's take a look.
And prior to replay, this is a bang, bang out. You're out. The ball beat you there, you're out. I mean, there was never a doubt prior to instant replay about a play like this.
I don't think until right there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Here, watch the angle here. He's safe.
Not sure he ever touches him.
Right there. He gets him on the back of the left arm.
Yep. There you go. See what I'm saying?
And the Twins have spent their challenge. And Nunez will come off. The game ended on a throw out at second base, on a strike him out, throw him out. And so Sanchez gets a little help from his catcher. And there's one away.
Only a minute and 17 seconds for that.
Took longer than that for the Twins to decide whether they wanted to challenge or not. 1-1 the count to Grossman. Chipped his bat.
They have so many of those cupped end bats that have a little of the very end of the bat bored out so that the bat is lighter. And sometimes when you swing and hit it right off the end, that's exactly what happens. It falls
apart.
5
different chips came off the very end of the bat.
You sure it was 5? It might have been 8. A whole bunch of them split right down the middle.
1-2 now to Grossman. It's a collection of slivers. And Grossman strikes out, 2 down.
Well, Anibal is pretty much fastball changeup type of pitcher now, and that was a very well executed changeup.
The Northland Ford defense for the Tigers. Justin Upton, Cameron Maben, and Mike Avilas in the outfield again. Same infield as last night, just a different catcher with James McCann behind the plate. 2 down, and here's Joe Mauer.
You talked about Nunez getting going. This guy needs to get going if the Twins are going to start climbing back into significance. He's got 2 RBIs over his last 80-some at-bats. And tonight hitting in the 3 spot for Paul Mauer.
And he's been hitting behind guys who've been getting on base. Nunez and Grossman. Fouled back. And it's 0-2. In his last 8 starts, now he spent a lot of time in the bullpen over that course of time, but in his last 8 starts, Sanchez has lasted just 39 1/3 innings and given up 38 earned runs.
Well, that's just it. Early in the year, he had some outings where he was lasting less than 3 innings and giving up 6, 7 runs.
Backhanded by Castellanos. The throw across, and the Twins get a bunt single, but send just 3 men to the plate in the first inning. Now it's Tommy Malone's turn. last year of his deal, and depending on how the Tigers have played the week before, he's either going to get fired, he's going to get renewed in his 3rd year. And the Tigers are trying to figure out whether they can get back into the race and catch the Cleveland Indians. The Menards batting order for the Tigers: Ian Kinsler, Cameron Maybin, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, Justin Upton, Mike Aviles, James McCann, and Jose Iglesias.
They'll be facing Tommy Milone, making his 9th start of the year. He's 3-1 against the Tigers with a 3.86 ERA, making his first start this year against Detroit, and he's won his last 2 consecutive starts, beating his former team out in Oakland and down in Texas.
First pitch strike in the outside corner. That's Malone's fastball, and he needs to get ahead with that and then throw his arsenal of pitches up there after that. Up high, now it's 1-1. Kinsler having a very solid year offensively. The power's back, 18 home runs on the year. This ball hit to right center field, and Kepler over into the shade to make the catch. 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Minnesota Twins. Robbie Grossman out in left field, Byron Buxton in center, and Max Kepler in right. Sano, Nunez, Dozier, Mauer, the infielders, and Suzuki behind the plate.
And the only change is Grossman out there instead of Rosario, who played left field last night.
Right. Grossman was the designated hitter. And Tommy Milone will try to do what Matt Boyd did for the Tigers last night. Maybin standing in. He's done very well against left-handed pitching. And he takes strike 1. But we saw Boyd pitch effectively last night. We've all seen Tommy Milone pitch. Any similarities, comparisons you can make?
You know, I was just thinking as I was watching Tommy Milone, and the numbers don't equate to this, but as far as his delivery, he reminds me a lot of Tom Glavine. He's just sort of a guy that's very deliberate. He never seems to exert himself, and he relies on changing speeds.
Fouled away. One thing I noticed last night, and I don't know that I'll be able to explain this properly, but with Boyd last night, I saw a lot of 80-mile-per-hour pitches, and you don't see that very often. On the radar gun, you'll see pitches in the 90s, and all the way down. Here's a weak little pop-up right side. Bauer getting twisted around, and Kepler drops the ball. Runner going to second, and he'll reach safely.
Well, that was outstanding base running right there from Cameron Maybin. He rounds first base with every intention of getting to second if there's a hiccup. And like you mentioned, Joe Mauer never really picked up that ball properly. I think that was his ball to catch. Max Kepler had to go a long way. Let's take another look at it here. You see how Joe does a little pirouette there, is trying to find the ball. Kepler gets all the way around the ball, and it looked like so he could have caught that, but Maybin just turns on the gas as he runs by first base. He's got long strides, and he's in scoring position because of his hustle.
Air charge to Kepler. Maybin at second. Here's Miguel Cabrera. Anyway, getting back to the velocity readings last night, you don't see 80 very often. You'll see anywhere from upper 90s to upper 70s. But it's kind of like in basketball, the 17-foot jump shot. You don't see much of those anymore either, you know. Somebody's either getting a layup, a slam dunk, or a three. A mid-range velocity like 80, and whether that had anything to do with it or not, the Twins couldn't time it right. He
had his changeup working away. Very good command of his changeup. We're talking about Matt Boyd last night, who pitched against the Twins. And he also had a good breaking ball, and he took it off, took some off his breaking ball, and those were in the 80-mile-per-hour range. So he had two pitches working on the outer part of the plate that were similar in speed.
1-1 to Miguel Cabrera.
Talking to some of the Tiger people, they have not seen him throw such a good changeup as
big
he had last night.
Chopper. And Mauer feeds Malone, 2 away, and on the play, Maybin goes to third. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. Twins trying to pitch around the air, charge to Kepler. Tigers 5 games above the 500 mark, and 5.5 games in back of Cleveland. Indians got a Some more discouraging news today about Michael Brantley. His shoulder just is not responding to therapy and rehab, and he's going to have another MRI done. Bouncer to third, and Sano with the catch. And the throw across the air does no damage, and Malone has a nice first inning. Ball, and Gerard Dyson hit a grand slam to complete a 7-run 8th inning as the Royals got back a game closer to the Indians. How about that White Sox game? Chris Sale dominant through 8. David Robertson, normally so reliable, and he gave up 4 runs, including a 3-run bomb to Adam Lind off the bench. Aroldis Chapman threw in over 105 miles per hour, and Jose Fernandez 14 strikeouts and allowed just 4 hits. Brian Dozier will lead off the second inning for the Twins. He'll be followed by Miguel Sano and Max Kepler. Where things really seem to have broken down this year for Sanchez is his effectiveness, now this year ineffectiveness, against right-handed batters. Coming into the year in his career, he had an opponent batting average with right-handers at the plate .255. That's pretty good. This year, right-handers are hitting .321 against him.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the effect of his breaking ball. He hasn't had a good breaking ball all year long. He's pretty much relied on fastball changeup here and trying to get back on track. And when you don't have a feel for your breaking ball and you're always behind with it, you kind of tend to want to throw it on the shelf for a while.
2 strikes to Dozier. Half swing. Did he go? Strike 3. Dozier gone on 3 pitches. Now 2 for 21 against Anibal Sanchez. Let's check in with Audra Martin.
Thanks, guys. With the weather today almost identical to what we saw yesterday, the Twins are battling one of the issues that they faced yesterday, and that's the shadows here at the ballpark. Now, while most major league parks have a batter's line of sight that faces north-northeast, here in Detroit, the batters actually face southeast. In fact, it's further south than any other park in Major League Baseball. So that means the shadows have the pitcher and the hitters in the shade. Now, that means it's harder for these guys to pick up on the rotation of the ball, but there's another factor, and that's Brian Dozier's lesson he taught me today. He actually said the baseballs here in Detroit are darker than anywhere else in baseball. You'll see the one on the right, that's from here in Detroit. The one on the left is one of the balls that they brought here with them. So you can see that there's a difference. Not a huge difference, but when you mix it in with the shadows of this ballpark, it does make a difference. And I asked some of the other guys, they all completely agreed that it is a big problem. Guys?
All right, Jack, have at it.
Don't both teams hit the same baseballs?
Right.
Okay, court adjourned.
Well, now here's Sanchez. He's been struggling, and he's got 3 strikeouts in the first 5 at bats as well. He gets Dozier and Sano both very quickly, and now Max Kepler.
No, I think there's something to say about the shadow game time starts here. you know, early in the year it's going to be darker, late in the year it's going to be darker. Here we are at the time of the year where the sun stays up later, so you have the shadows early in the ball game, and that's always been a complaint of hitters. But the baseballs, come on, everybody hits the same ones.
But you know, there is a difference depending on who rubs up the baseball. Now, when you pitch, the umpires, the home plate umpire would take 6 dozen baseballs and rub up 6 dozen baseballs, and now clubhouse kids do it. The umpires don't do it.
The mud is still from the same place,
right?
You know, just like the grass is all grown in somewhere in Colorado. For all these ballparks around the country, the mud comes from, I don't know, somewhere in Mississippi or something. They put it in a can, ship it to all the ballparks, add water, mix it up with the baseball, and
what do I want to say? Delaware River mud, I believe.
I don't know if it's Delaware or where it's from.
1-2 to Kepler. Just missed. Close pitch, 2-2.
Well, the Twins have got to start maybe doing something different. You don't want this guy to get feeling it. He's got good command when he's pitching well. See the movement again. That's something that's been missing from Annabelle, is being able to move that ball. It's really running from left to right, as you see from the center field camera.
3-2 to Kepler with Vargas on deck. Ground ball right side. Kinsler has an easy play, and Sanchez has an easy second inning. ERA leaders, the Twins, are in the top 5. That was decidedly not the case early in the season. In the first 3 months, Gibson's pitched well. Nolasco obviously pitched well last night.
Yeah, Paul Molitor addressed that in the pregame. I'm talking about the fact that he's had a little more of a breathing room. The bullpen's got more rest because the starters have been more consistently getting into the 6th inning. Ricky Nolasco sitting there on the left pitched a great game last night. 3 hits over 6+ innings of baseball, 6 innings of ball, and yet he did not get a lot of luck and ended up losing the ball game.
2-0 now to Nick Castellanos. Justin Upton and Mike Aviles will follow.
Twins playing Castellanos straight up. No shift on him.
That one floats over for a strike. 2-1. Things coming together for Castellanos offensively, but we saw last night a 1-run ball game still replaced defensively when the Tigers have a lead. Called strike, 2-2.
Well,
that was one of Paul Molitor's contentions too. Here we are playing the Tigers, and Castellanos, the third baseman, is being taken out for defense. That ought to tell the bunters that you want to try to get him to play the ball as often as possible.
Well, I'm not so sure it's so much about how bad Nick is. It's about the fact that Romine is very good at taking away the bump. Tommy Malone gets a strikeout there. The home plate umpire Jerry Lane kind of giving him a little on the outside part of the plate in the previous pitch, and that's something that Tommy really needs. This last pitch out of the zone, ball's breaking, diving down, and Castellanos swings out of the zone. And, those are partly reasons a hitter will swing at that, is because when an umpire calls a pitch that's borderline, maybe even off the plate away, then you've got to, it's almost like a message. Hey, you better be swinging, kid.
Strike at the knees to Justin Upton.
I think you get more hitters frustrated with that kind of previous call, and then they swing at a bad pitch, and they know they shouldn't, but they feel like they can blame it on the umpire because he's calling pitches that they have to offer at.
And if they're going to go down, they're going to go down swinging rather than taking.
They don't want to take it. They can't take a 2-strike. They don't want to ever take strike 3.
1-1 to Upton, his 200th major league home run, the only run of the game last night. Softly hit, and Malone waits, puts the glove up, and then had to wait for the ball to hit the glove, and he ends up picking up the ball off the ground and throwing him out.
Let's watch the replay of this now. First base coach for the Tigers, Omar Vizquel, used to play catch where he would literally use the back of his glove to pop the ball up in the air and then grab it with his baseball glove in such a quick motion that you were deceived by what was actually happening. And I'm looking at Tommy Malone there, and it's like the ball was so softly hit, he was pulling an Omar Vizquel.
2 down, and here's Mike Aviles. Bouncer toward third. Sano cuts it off. Rifles his throw to Mauer. And if anything, Tommy Malone had an easier second inning than first. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. Beautiful summer night in Detroit. No score through 2 innings. And Kenny Vargas will lead off the third. It's the first time in 7 starts that Sanchez has gotten through the first 2 innings without allowing a run. The Twins have a bunt single. Nunez was thrown out trying to steal. Sanchez has 3 strikeouts already. And it'll be Vargas, Suzuki, and Buxton in the third.
I'm a little surprised at the way Paul Molitor has arranged Kenny Vargas. You would thought maybe that he would have hit against the left-handed pitching Matt Boyd last night, because his numbers hitting right-handed have been so good since being called back up. And Rosario might get the day off because of the left-handed pitcher, but flipping him around, he's going to face Sanchez here left-handed tonight.
2-0. to Vargas. Three and 0. Suzuki on deck.
One thing Kenny Vargas has done a lot better is not swinging early in counts at balls that he doesn't want. He's kind of keyholed the ball a lot better, looking for something he can handle when he's ahead in counts.
3-1. Mentioned that one of the problems for Sanchez is walks are way up this year. See if he can come all the way back from 3-0. Vargas swings and misses 3-2.
Just got an interesting note. After 2 complete innings in last night's game, we had a total of 80 pitches between the 2 pitchers. Tonight, after 2 innings, only 43.
Wow.
So about half. This game's moving so far.
And Vargas chips it foul over the Tiger dugout. Three years ago, he won the American League ERA title. Vargas takes a strike at the knees. The 4th strikeout for Sanchez in the ballgame.
Vargas walked away like he thought that ball was low. We'll take a look at it. Looks like Fox Tracks has got it right there on the bottom of the strike zone. Too good a pitch to take in a situation like that. Jerry Lane says, no, that's a strike. And it was.
Here's Suzuki. Suzuki's average now has plateaued at a rather nice level in the 280, 290 range. Given where his batting average was the first 2 months, that's pretty remarkable. 1 strike.
Upon further review of Audra's little investigative reporting there of the baseball, the shadows, and the combination thereof it here at America at this time of night, I have slightly more sympathy for those hitters.
Well, I mean, something's happening. I mean, we didn't expect a 1-0 ball game last night. Both these guys have struggled this year, and
we got 1 hit in this game so far.
That's a bunt.
4 strikeouts already for Sanchez. So it's a tough time. I really believe shadows are tough on hitters, and we have those in center field right now.
2 strikes. Roy Smalley's talked about it. When the batter's eye is illuminated and the pitcher is in the shadows, it's tough to pick up. I mean, your eyes can't focus on 2 different levels of lighting.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that. It's harder when it's on the infield, when there's a line, a distinct line between the pitcher and the hitter.
And there's Suzuki serving one solidly to left again. And he's aboard with a 1-out single. Second Twins hit, and that'll bring up Buxton. Twins fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. You can download the app, take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. And we'll see what Buxton does here. He has not picked up a bunt single since his recall from Rochester. And he takes up high, ball 1.
Nick Castellanos playing right on the bag at third base. He is very aware of the speed that Byron Buxton has, but also has to be aware of a double getting by him, so he's guarding the line and also playing back deep enough to maybe get the double play.
Strike taken, 1-1.
You wonder at what point a manager decides that he's going to get involved. A lot of times it's after the 5th inning in these close games. Right now, 0-0 as we are in the 3rd inning.
Pop up short center. Iglesias, Maben converging, and that ball's going to drop. Suzuki goes to 3rd, and a nice job by Iglesias picking up the ball and flipping it back to 2nd, keeping Buxton at first base.
Well, real good job for Kurt Suzuki to read that. He could see that Iglesias was not going to get to that ball, and he got about halfway to 2nd base and just kept running. Let's watch Suzuki over there at first base here. He kind of is feeling for it, and then he sees he's not going to get there, and he just pours on the coals and gets himself over to third base. So runners at the corner now with just one out.
First and third, and now Nunez, who dropped a bunt up the third base line. Carsoup.com trivia question: in 1997, Chuck Knobloch set the Twins record for stolen bases in a season. Who led the American League that year? Ricky was done, right? Ricky Henderson.
I believe he was. He might have still been around, but I don't know if he had more than 62.
Nunez chases the pitch up, strike one. So we're getting this question while we're in Detroit, which suggests, doesn't insist, but it suggests it might be a Tiger.
Okay, who'd the Tigers have in 97 that could run?
Bobby Higginson.
No, wrong guy. He couldn't run.
One strike. And a drive to left center field and hit pretty deep. Maben going back, and he makes the catch. Tagging and scoring the Suzuki, and the Twins strike first here tonight on Nunez's deep fly ball.
Well, that's a great reason why you hustle around second base. Kurt Suzuki gets into scoring position so that that deep fly ball to the outfield can easily score him from third base. Twins get on the board first, and Suzuki getting the high fives in the dugout.
And now Robbie Grossman struck out his first time up. See if Buxton tries to steal here. He's got a short lead, and Grossman takes strike one.
Well, McCann has a lot of respect around baseball for his throwing ability, but if Buxton's ever going to become that guy that learns the game of, or the art of base stealing, he's got to start taking chances. And this is a great chance. Twins are on the board first. There's two outs, so you know you got the heart of the order coming back up. Grossman and Mauer, Dozier. It's a good time to go try to steal a base if you're Byron Buxton.
Buxton 7 for 7 in stolen bases.
There he goes.
And there he goes. And the pitch grounded to the right side, and the ball took a weird hop, and Grossman will beat it. Buxton advances to third. Kinsler thought he had that ground ball covered, and it kicked right. And he lunged after it, but to make the catch, he lost his balance. And Grossman will get an infield hit. Buxton will go to third base.
Very good base running. Buxton takes off, and of course he's going to motor. And this ball's hit to the right side. I don't know what happened. It was one of those quick hops. It looked like it bounced twice on the dirt, but for whatever reason, Kinsler maybe didn't pick it up quite well enough, and he was sneaking by him.
Been a little traffic in that area. I wonder whether the hop didn't hit a cleat mark or a little divot in the dirt. Here's Mauer. Outside, ball one. So the Twins getting some weird hits here. Suzuki's hit was a clean hit. Buxton with a little pop fly that dropped in the outfield, and now a scratch single by Grossman.
Now this is where Joe Mauer's got to do some damage. He's in the 3 spot for a reason, and this is RBI time.
We've just seen an awful lot of that over the last few weeks, haven't we? Where whether it's because he's late or not, foul balls along the seats down the left field line. Just hasn't been consistently able to drive the ball.
Hasn't been the same swing, and you know sometimes no matter who you are, you have to make adjustments to do whatever it takes to be productive.
1-1. And now 1-2.
Twins already with 3 hits this inning. They only had 3 hits in the entire game last night. Having a good opportunity here to get another run on the board.
One and 2 to Joe Mauer. Jam shot and a dribbler to short. And Iglesias throws him out. The Twins get 3 singles and the game's first run. North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Twins leading 1-0. We want to pass along our condolences to the friends and family of Bernie Meyer of Richmond. She was a great Twins fan, and she passed away at the age of 99, a loyal Twins viewer. And so our very sincerest thoughts and prayers to her family. James McCann will lead off the third inning. Jose Iglesias, Ian Kinsler will follow, and Tommy Milone now pitching with a 1-0 lead.
Well, all year long, Tommy's really been doing a good job the first time through the lineup.
And there's a base hit to left.
Of course, I had to say something like that, didn't I?
First Tiger hit, and it comes from McCann leading off the third inning. Coming up Wednesday, July 27th, the Twins taking on the Braves, and the first 10,000 fans 21 and over get a Twins 91 World Championship Stein presented by Budweiser. July 27th is also Student Day presented by Rasmussen College and a Schweigert $1 a Dog Day. Tickets go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets or call 800-33-TWINS. Here is Jose Iglesias.
You look up and down the lineup, and of course, the guy that's hitting the worst
Gets
James
the
McCann,
first hit.
hitting a $199. He gets the base hit.
Twins turned a couple of double plays last night. We'll see if Milone can get one here. He delivers ball one to Iglesias.
Yeah, Ricky really pitched a very good game for the Twins, and he did get himself out of a couple jams with the double play ball. Tommy Milone would love that right now from Iglesias.
And now a strike, 1-1.
It is absolutely a gorgeous evening again here in Detroit. I think it's nicer than it was last night, a little less humid. Not a cloud in the sky.
We know that the heat and the humidity are going to hit the Twin Cities very intensely in the next few days. It's already getting very muggy back home throughout the Twins territory. It's going to be stifling, the heat and humidity.
Stay cool, folks.
Stay inside. If you've got air conditioning, leave it on and watch Twins baseball.
Stay hydrated anyway.
Peeled over the screen, foul, and it's still 1-2. Do you have air conditioning growing up? I mean, you and I are roughly contemporaries.
No, we did not. But I remember the first house that our family lived in, we finally got one of those window boxes, air conditioning.
Right.
And many, many nights, the weather that's going to hit the Twin Cities here the next few days, we would, I would, as a kid, sleep on the floor in the living room just to be closer to that.
I was just telling somebody the story before about how we lived in central Missouri for 5 years, didn't have air conditioning. We moved to a new house that had central air conditioning. I swear we set the thermostat at 62 degrees. It was cold in that house. We enjoyed the air conditioning so much. 2-2 to Iglesias and a pop-up right field. And Kepler coming in, making the catch, and that's out number 1. And now Ian Kinsler.
Important to get that first out here. The Twins just put a run on the board for Tommy Milone, and we talk about a momentum all the time. Try not to let it swing over to the other dugout here. Lead off base hit from James McCann. Now he's going to have to face the top of the lineup. Second time through for Tommy. Kinsler's been having a great year for the Tigers. A lot of people thought, including me, that he was deserving of an all-star bid.
Swing and a miss. 1 strike. Check swing. 1-1. Kinsler has been healthier and consistently more productive than Prince Fielder has been for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, that trade has really worked out for Detroit. Of course, Kinsler coming over from the Texas Rangers.
Change up and a wave and a miss, 1-2.
That's a great pitch right there. As I was talking about the trade, I was about ready to talk about the holes that Ian Kinsler has, and the one pitch that he's susceptible to is that one that Tommy Milone just threw. That change up down and away, because Kinsler does like to ambush you. He loves the fastball, and it's hard to get in on him. He's sometimes susceptible up, but the ball down and away right there, really a good pitch. Of course, goes back with the breaking ball down.
2-2.
Lays awesome. Lays off of it.
And now 3-2 with Maben on deck.
Well, Tommy trying to get him to chase, but he's not quite close enough for them to be tempted. When you bounce the ball or you throw it so far down, hitters recognize it quickly, and it's easier for them to lay off. If you get hitters to chase, it's got to appear that it's going to be a strike and then goes off the plate.
Milone, of course, usually pretty good about throwing strikes. 41 1/3 innings up here, 14 strikes, about 1 every 3 innings. 1 walk every 3 innings. Wouldn't think McCann would take off here, but we'll see. Struck him out on a changeup, 2 down.
Did not give in. And Kinsler's very frustrated right there that he swung out of the zone. But that's Tommy Milone. That's part of his plan. He's got to get those hitters to feel like they're going to get something that they're not going to get. And in this case, a changeup down and away off the plate. And he gets Kinsler over anxious and swings.
2 down, and now Maben. Maben hit the pop-up in short right field. Dozier and Mauer chased it from the infield. Kepler got there, but then the ball bounced out of his glove. A 2-base error, but Maben ended up being left at third base. Maben fouls it over the Twins dugout. 1 strike. Nine years ago, the Tigers traded Maben to the Marlins in a package deal and got Dontrell Willis and Miguel Cabrera. And now they brought Maben back. So then he throws an 89-mile-per-hour fastball, and Maben and every other hitter in the world reacts late to it because of the teasing effect of the changeup. 2 strikes.
I remember my good friend Dave Bergman. He used to hit some of the toughest pitches a pitcher could throw, and sometimes I'd ask him, "How did you hit that?" And he says, "Well, I was looking for it." And I go, "What do you mean you were looking for it?" And he says, "Well, I couldn't hit anything else. I had to look for something that was going to be tough."
Pick one out, just sit on it.
And quite honestly, as silly and as funny as that might sound, it's a lot of the same philosophies for a lot of hitters. If you know what you can handle, then why look for something you can't handle? You know, just zone in that area, and when you get it, the whole idea is not to miss it.
2 strikes to Maben. Milone on the Twins up 1-0. Chop at the plate.
Tommy really frustrating these Tiger hitters right here. He's doing a good job of keeping the ball down, and really slower and slower is his game plan right now.
Well, isn't that what Matt Boyd did last night?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, hitters, they always think they're going to be challenged. I remember guys screaming at me, "Challenge me, what's wrong with you?" And I'd laugh and I'd say, "Why?" You're going to swing at that slop, why would I challenge you?
Roll to the right side. Dozier gets in front of it. And on a close play, Maben's retired. And the Twins have a 1-0 lead. We have very sad news to report from baseball's commissioner's office. Suzanne Hilgefort, MLB's Senior Director of Broadcasting Business Affairs, died on Saturday in a small plane crash along with her husband Michael and a close friend. Suzanne had worked for the broadcasting department for over 20 years and was instrumental in the launch of MLB Network. To all of us in the Fox family, Hilgefort played a key role in the league's coordination of our baseball jewel events, the All-Star Game, playoffs, and World Series. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her family and the families of her husband and friend. The fourth for the Twins, and then Miguel Sano, Max Kepler. Dozier really having a tough time with Sanchez. He has just 2 hits in 21 at bats, and he struck out on a check swing on the 3rd pitch he saw in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, tough series so far for Brian. He struck out 4 out of 5 times here in Detroit.
And now the first pitch popped up to short center, and Maben comes in, and a very quick first out. Well, we saw it happen on Sunday, and we are sad to report on our Sanford Health injury report that Yan Gomes suffered a separated right shoulder. He's expected to miss 4 to 8 weeks. And it was ironic that Terry Francona on a Friday night made a point in his session with the media to talk about Gomes and how he thought he was really going to be one of the key players for them in the second half. He was going to get hot after a very disappointing first half. Taken low by Sano, ball 1, and then Gomes gets involved in that awkward play at first base, and then originally we thought it would be an injury to his left knee, and instead it was his right shoulder. 2-0 now to Sano.
Which happens to be his throwing shoulder for a catcher.
Right.
You know, it's an absolute critical part of your anatomy to play this game is your throwing arm, especially for a catcher.
And Sano takes something at 83 miles per hour on 2-0. 50th pitch coming up for Sanchez. He's given up 4 singles and so far 1 run. That's hit to right center field and deep. Chasing it is Aviles, and it's over his head. Sano will have an extra base hit, and he'll hold up with a double. Aviles might have taken the wrong angle on that ball.
It didn't appear kind of funny, and hopefully we'll get to see a replay of that. But Mike Aviles looked like he was going to get to that ball, but he never lifted his arm to catch it. We'll see if we see a different look here. See, it's a breaking ball away that Sano puts a nice swing on, but he just never did get to the ball. He put his glove up there, kind of to decoy the runner, maybe to keep him at second base.
Well, here's Kepler. Bounced to second his first time up. He's trying to get Sano around with an insurance run, and a ball fouled back to the screen.
So Sano keeps his hitting streak alive.
10 games now.
Yeah.
pitches up. Now, Audra mentioned that it was Brian Dozier's contention that the baseballs being rubbed up here in Detroit were darker than normal, and she showed us an example of that. Now, I've been watching the balls that have been used. And that foul ball on the first pitch to Kepler looked like it might have been darker. The ball fouled back. No, I'm not.
You can see from here.
All right, now there's what we're talking about, and you know the hitters were complaining about it. We had 1 run scored yesterday.
How do you know that they aren't using one of those screens that we have when we have our open that they put right behind the thing here, and they got that shadowed? We don't. I mean, come on, you're a mile and a half away from the pitcher.
1-2 outside. Now anything's better than I mean, the one on the right looked like a perfectly good baseball. Not when we were playing town team ball and you had 2 baseballs and you had to use the entire game. By the 7th inning, the thing was pitch black.
Think about it. They're not allowed to have a scratch on them anymore. If they hit the dirt, they're thrown out. So,
but now it just triggers a thought. In Korea, for the baseballs, they are rubbed up at the factory.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so I guess the question is if there is a difference, and whether it's darker here than it will be in Boston this weekend.
I'm sure there is slight difference. It's the human element.
Well, there always was, and Paul Molitor talked about Richie Garcia typically would rub up the darkest baseballs back when the home plate umpire did it.
He liked pitchers.
3-2.
And didn't like hitters.
But if they can do it in Korea, why not rub them up at the factory? They come looking, pearl white.
Why don't you just dye them gray? There's gray cows, right?
Right.
Chocolate milk.
3-2 to Kepler with Vargas on deck. And Kepler takes a walk.
Good at bat for Max. Twins having another chance to maybe get back on the board.
And Vargas thought he'd drawn a walk on a 3-2 pitch in the 3rd. Instead, he was rung up on strikes. 5 hits for the Twins, and they got 1 in the 3rd, but left a couple men aboard. Now would like to take advantage of this scoring threat. See if they can get a big fly from the big man here. And a belt high strike.
Vargas has to be shaking his head because the borderline pitch on the bottom part of the zone was called a strike to strike him out, and then the first pitch he comes and sees has got to be in the upper part of the zone.
1 strike to Vargas. Chop to the right side, and the runners will move up. Vargas is retired, 2 away now for Suzuki. Suzuki singled and scored in the 3rd inning.
Well, Suzuki, one of the Twins hitters that was really heating up prior to the break. See, he's got a very good average with runners in scoring position.
A little less than 2 weeks between now and the trading deadline, and I really think one of the interesting things for Rob Antony now is what do you do with Kurt Suzuki, an offensive catcher. Saw him throw out a couple of runners in the ball game on Sunday, but he's had some throwing issues.
Well, one thing that I think all couch jockey GMs should contemplate is what are your options?
That was the thing. The Twins aren't very deep in catching.
And that's always quite honestly, that's what GMs have to consider themselves.
1 strike. And Suzuki pops it up short center. Maven coming in, Kinsler out. And Maven with the catch, and the Twins get a double and a walk, strand 2 runners. It's still 1-0. Twins leading here as we go to the bottom of the fourth. You can take a look at the standings a month ago, and the Indians leading by a half game, and they've not run away and hit or anything like that, but they've opened up a big lead. And since the 20th, the Astros have played good baseball. They're putting some pressure on the Rangers, and the Tigers have played good baseball, but they are still losing ground to the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, the Indians have been playing very good. The Detroit Tigers did pick up a game yesterday on Cleveland with the win. Cleveland's loss.
And again, the problem has been Detroit in the head-to-head matchups with Cleveland. They've lost 11 of the 12 games.
A lot like the Twins struggling against Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit struggling against Cleveland.
One strike to Cabrera, now a ball.
I asked Paul Molitor about that. I said, how do you explain that? He says, you really don't. He says, it's just baseball. You never can quite figure out why, Twins can't beat Detroit, but Detroit can't beat Cleveland, and the Twins have done pretty well against Cleveland. So,
oh, what a catch by Bauer, going to his left, spearing a hot ground ball, one away.
Taking away a possible base hit from Miguel Cabrera right there. Good effort by Joe Mauer. Let's take another look at it.
We've seen Joe make a number of plays, both to his right and his left. Makes a fine play there. That ball was at least a single, and instead it's the first out.
Well, when you have good speed in the outfield like Kepler, Buxton, Rosario, Grossman, not so much of those three guys, but you got to feel like Kepler is going to get to that ball, even if it gets by Joe, and keep Miguel Cabrera at first. But it's nice to see Mauer make a great play there and prevent even one base runner.
Victor Martinez takes a strike. Malone has been good here tonight. Just one hit allowed, a clean single to left.
I can tell you from a pitcher standpoint, when you get defense like that and guys are diving all over, making great plays, you want to throw the ball over.
A liner to Nunez, 2 away. Time now for our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Taking a look at strikeout leaders in both leagues. David Price has had a so-so year with the Red Sox, but he's got 141 strikeouts. Max Scherzer has not had a so-so year, and he's leading the National League with 171 strikeouts.
We're having a party in here, aren't we?
Well, my feet won't get cold or hot.
You probably don't know what's going on, folks, so I'll fill you in. I just kicked over the trash can, and it spilled all over Dick's foot. So he's got one wet one and one dry one.
These shoes needed shining anyway.
I was going to say it might have enhanced his shoes.
2 down here in the fourth. Castellanos with 1 strike. On the ground.
Another good inning.
Nunez across to Bauer. Yes, a very quick 1, 2, 3, 4 for Tommy Malone.
tonight. And a reminder, Twins fans, don't forget at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs. And if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner's circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Byron Buxton will lead off the 5th inning. We'll see if he tries to drop down a bunt. Eduardo Nunez did to start the ball game. Castellanos starting in the dirt, about even with third base. And these are situations Paul Molitor would love to see Buxton do more bunting. He's hitting 200 right now, roughly. And I think the assumption is he wouldn't have to work on it hard at all to bunt 300. And get his speed aboard leading off an inning.
Well, the thing is, he works on it. It's not just drag bunting down the third base line. He works very hard at pushing the ball towards the first baseman, too. And with Kinsler playing deep, Miguel Cabrera, even though he's a big man, a lot like Sano, he moves fairly well as far as fielding. Now, he's not going to move all the way in. If he can get the ball by Sanchez on the right side, that's where you'd probably want to lay this one down.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Because Castellanos was up on the grass. Now with 2 strikes, he's going to move back.
Buxton, Nunez, and Grossman here in the Twins' 5th. Swing and a miss. Buxton's gone. 1 away. With 1 away in the 5th, let's find Audra Martin.
Well, guys, Eduardo Nunez is coming up to the plate for the Twins, and for him, the accolades simply just keep coming. A week after representing the Twins in San Diego, Nunez has now been named the Twins Heart and Hustle Award winner. That award is presented by the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association, and it honors players who demonstrate a passion for the game of baseball and best embody the values, spirit, and traditions of the game. Now, earlier today, Paul Molitor said he's definitely the perfect guy for that award because his heart, well, it's shown by the fact that he plays dirty, meaning his uniform gets dirty every single game. And as far as the hustle part of the award, well, guys, that's obvious. He obviously pointed to the fact that we see that hustle day in and day out when that helmet goes flying off of his head. But obviously, he's a very perfect recipient for this award.
Well, the helmet came off at least twice on his bunt single in the 1st. Then he tried to steal second, and the helmet came off. He was thrown out. Then he drove in the run with a fly ball to center. Driven foul. Ian Kinsler, the Detroit recipient of the Heart and Hustle Award.
Well, Nunez had a very, very good first half of his season. You know, that whole helmet thing with him started in New York, where he started his career. And I remember one time that they tried to glue. They put some glue in his helmet, hoping that it would stick to his hair. And of course, that upset him a little bit. Had to get a haircut the next day.
2-2 to Nunez. And he chases a one up in his, well, it's almost helmet high.
Yeah, 6th strikeout now for Sanchez. Ball up in the zone, kind of a defensive swing.
Back to our trivia question. Chuck Knobloch with 62 steals in 1997. Who led the American League? I haven't a clue.
You know what? As soon as they show us, we're going to remember. Well, I wouldn't remember.
Brian
that.
Hunter. I could have been here till the end of the season and not come up with that name. 74 steals.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Grossman hooks one foul. You know, you see, I don't want to belabor the point, but you see a swing like that from Nunez, and it just looked like he didn't see the ball right away.
You know, I was just going there. You know, it has to be those dark balls in the shadows here at America. Because that was a very odd swing.
Sanchez has had a hard time missing bats for a long time, and he's picked up a bunch of strikeouts, and there's Grossman with a swing and a miss.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of what he hasn't had this year, and that's swings and misses here against the Twins tonight. Twins do have 4 hits to Detroit's 1, and they do lead this game 1-0, but Sanchez seems to be getting on a little bit of a roll here.
Right down the middle, and Grossman takes a call, 3rd strike. Anibal Sanchez with 3 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 5th. Pepsi fans of the game so far seeing another pitcher's duel. We had a 1-0 ball game last night. That's not a common occurrence in baseball anymore. And so far here tonight, it's 1-0. And it'll be Justin Upton who drove in the lone run for the Tigers in last night's game with a home run, and he takes ball one from Tommy Milone.
Well, a 47th pitch for Tommy Milone. Very efficient here in this game so far as we go to the bottom of the 5th. He's made it look easy. He's gotten the Tigers to swing early in counts, and he's been ahead of a lot of hitters.
And now 2-0. Upton hit a soft line drive back toward the mound, and Malone knocked it down, threw him out back in the 2nd inning.
Tommy with 12-16 first pitch strikes. It's kind of a good indication that he's getting ahead in counts, just what we talked about early, that's what he needs to do and continue to do.
Two and one. And now 3-1. Avila's on deck.
Twins have the shift on Upton. Dozier swinging over to the third base side of second base, and we saw Upton last night not only get a home run, but he went with a pitch away off of Ricky Nolasco, got a hit to the right side. Swinging for the fences on that swing.
Upton simply looked lost for most of the first 2 months of the season. I mean, there was big concern here because the Tigers signed him to a big time contract, and he was striking out every other at bat.
Well, the swings and misses were so obvious. He was missing balls by 2-3 feet sometimes. And he works a leadoff walk off Tommy Milone. That was his first walk of the game.
Fox Tracks presented by Jeep.
You can see it's well off the plate.
See, in the first 36 games, just 2 home runs, and back on a good home run binge rate right now over the last month and a half or so.
You know, talking about Upton, the Tigers knew what they were getting. He's a streaky type of hitter that he might go for a couple weeks and then get 6 hits in a row.
Malone thought about second base, and instead will get the out at first. A bunt right back to the mound.
He got the out, and that's what pitchers are taught. They do PFP, pitchers fielding practice all the time in spring training. The Twins came out after the break and spent a good hour doing this at Target Field, the first game back. And Tommy turns and sees that Nunez not to the bag yet. Watch it unfold. Just didn't feel like he could maybe get the runner, Upton. So he has plenty of time to get Aviles there. A smart play from Tommy to get at least 1 out.
Only hit for the Tigers came off the bat of James McCann, leading off the 3rd inning. Back to Malone, and a nice job by Upton there. He didn't get trapped off second base. 2 down, and that'll bring up Iglesias. Follow Twins baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Twins. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply, of course. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Again, Tommy Milone getting a quick out, a first pitch out from James McCann.
Here's Iglesias. And Malone delivers low.
Just excellent pitch count for Tommy. A little over 10 an inning, which is outstanding.
To right center field, slicing away from Buxton, and he'll track it down in the gap. Buxton hauls in a fly ball, and Malone pitches around the leadoff walk. isn't he? The show called Garbage Time with Katie Nolan has been called epic, witty, and refreshing. And the future of sports TV. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Emmy-winning sensation Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Central, only on FS1.
It just seems like an oxymoron. The future of sports TV, and it's called garbage time.
Here's Mauer, who will lead off the 6th for the Twins against Anibal Sanchez. Mauer, Dozier, and Sano. Strike at the knees.
As we watch Joe Mauer, you just can tell that something's different. Something's not clicking for him right now.
Swing and a miss. Two strikes to Mauer. And now a ball. Sanchez has set down 5 men in a row and struck out the side in the 5th. And a ground ball knocked down by Kinsler. Mauer will get a base hit. Leadoff man is on, and it is the first time the Twins have had the leadoff man on since the 1st inning.
And the first hit Joe's had in this series. Right. Yeah. It was 0 for yesterday. See that Kinsler makes a nice effort diving for this ball to his right, but just couldn't squeeze it. I'm not sure he would have had a play anyway had he been able to get up, but he does have quick hands.
Dozier struck out on 3 pitches in the 2nd, then hit the first pitch he saw in the 4th, leading off the inning to Maven in center field. And a strike taken. One and one. Angels got some more bad news. Nick Tropiano is going to, looks like, need Tommy John surgery. The 3rd Angel starter to need the ligament transfer surgery this year. Garrett Richards, Andrew Haney, the others.
It's unbelievable. It's become an epidemic. Pitchers with Tommy John.
Swing and a miss. And now the injury that's trendy is the rib resection, the thoracic outlet. Phil Hughes had to have it done. I think, what, 3 other pitchers, including Matt Harvey's had to have it done. 1-2 to Dozier. He's trying to build a lead here with Mauer at first. 2-2. Mentioned that 3 years ago, Sanchez won the American League ERA title. The Tigers then had such a great starting rotation. There goes Mauer, and Dozier swings and misses, and Mauer will steal second base. Another strikeout for Dozier. He's really having a tough time here in Detroit, but Mauer steals a bag, and he's in scoring position for Sano.
Well, Joe's smart base runner, knows what pitches to try to get a bag on, and he takes off, gets a good jump. You know, if he can do it, you wonder if Byron Buxton's paying attention, if Danny Santana's paying attention, because both those guys are faster than Joe is, and yet Joe's a smart base runner. 8 strikeouts now for Anibal Sanchez.
And for Dozier, his 5th strikeout already in this series. Here's Sano. Swing and a miss, 1 strike. Sano doubled over the head of Mike Aviles in right center field with 1 out in the 4th, but only got as far as third base.
We talk about the importance of first pitch strikes. Now Sanchez with 9 straight first pitch strikes, so He's getting ahead.
2 strikes now to Sano.
And already his 8 strikeouts, just one shy of his season high 9.
Right down the middle. And that's a pitch that Sano would love to see every time he came to the plate. At least one like that.
Every hitter would. He's not the Lone Ranger. You can't live there. Although, I have to admit, sometimes that was the best pitch to ever throw Kirby Puckett.
Because he was going to hit everything else?
He could hit him when they bounce. He could hit him over his head from shoe tops to helmet. Nothing was safe, except sometimes you'd lock him up right down the middle.
1-2 to Sano. Ooh, right by Kepler's ankles. Oh, I want to ask you about this because then the viewers might be tired of me harping on this, but we've seen so many close calls. How would you react as a former big leaguer just to take in this case, Kepler, and put him over in the other?
Like they do in Little League?
Like they do in Little League. There's a reason they do it in Little League. Now, that ball missed Kepler by 6 inches.
I think it would have been more fun in our generation than today's because we didn't like the guys in the other dugout.
Right, and I know that's an issue.
You could go over there and they could heckle you and you could get in their face and, you know, there'd be seeds flying back and forth and maybe a donut would fly off the bat and go into the dugout and whack somebody in the helmet. I mean, yeah, it's probably safer. You're not going to see it.
So no strikes out, 2 down, and that'll bring up Kepler.
Of course, I never thought they were going to
put helmets on coaches.
Well, change rules that allow contact at home plate and stuff
Right.
like that. I never thought I'd see that. See this breaking ball, another good breaking ball, and that ties the season high 9 strikeouts in a game for Anibal Sanchez.
He's got Dozier twice. He's got Sano twice. Kepler with a bouncer to second and a walk. Pitches up, ball 1.
Shadows are gone.
But it's those black baseballs we're using.
Well, it's still twilight though, and that is another reason it's a pitcher's night. It really truly is. I'm not so sure it's so much the black baseballs or the darker baseballs, but this is a time of night, that transition where the sun is setting. The lights haven't really just completely taken over the ballpark, and there is a transition that hitters have to pick up in that baseball.
1-1. Kepler hits it a long ways foul. Twins trying to take advantage of Bauer's leadoff single in the 6th. They've out-hit the Tigers. The Twins have 6-1.
One of the things you're talking about, the on-deck hitters and the safety factor, the reason they've never put a net or built a stadium where they've got a place for the hitter to stand.
Well, Kepler takes a call, 3rd strike.
Another strikeout.
3 more strikeouts for Sanchez, but he trails 1-0. scoring ball game. And 15's 5K is coming up Sunday, July 31st. The 5K run will start near Mariucci Arena and will finish inside Target Field. All registrants receive a 15's 5K t-shirt, finisher's medal, finish line food and beverage, and more. For more information and to register, visit twinsbaseball.com/15's 5K. All right, Jack Morris, you've just run 5K. They've got food for you. What would you want to eat at the end of a 5K run?
How long do I get to wait for the food?
Well, it's going to be right there waiting for you.
I don't want anything. I want a glass of water.
Okay. Were you a runner? I mean, when you pitched?
Well, we ran a lot more than I see anybody running today, yeah. We ran every day. Wasn't fun, but it definitely built your leg strength and gave you endurance.
Inside the ballpark, outside the ballpark?
Inside.
Okay. 2-0 to Kinsler, leading off the Detroit sixth. Fouled away. It's 2-1.
Kinsler 0 for 6 so far in this series. Tommy Malone continuing what Ricky Nolasco did last night, getting him out, keeping him off the bases.
This will be the 60th pitch of the night for Tommy Malone. He's gotten 15 outs. And now 3-1. He issued a leadoff walk in the 5th, but was able to pitch around it. But with the likes of Cabrera and Martinez following up Kinsler this inning, he doesn't want to walk Kinsler.
You see the 3rd inning, the only real rough inning at all for Tommy Malone.
Driven to left, and Grossman's there to make the catch. A well-hit ball for the first out.
Good reaction from Grossman, Robbie Grossman out in left field. He went straight back on that ball, and that's what he needed to do to get back in time. And Tommy kind of catching a break there. That's what you need to do when you're throwing strikes. You put the pressure on the hitter to put the ball in play, and you allow that defense to be involved. They've made some good plays behind him tonight.
Cameron Maben reached on a Max Kepler error in the 1st and then hit a ground ball to Dozier. Outside, ball 1.
This is the part of the game that Tommy was having trouble with early in the first half when he was struggling a little bit. You get through the lineup a couple times, one time, maybe the second time, for sure the 3rd time, Paul Molitor to have somebody warming up. Now this is a 1-run game, but nobody warming up in the bullpen. His pitch count's in great shape. He's been on cruise control, making it look effortless tonight.
One hop to Dozier. And I tell you what, almost happened on the ground ball to Dozier in the 3rd inning. You better throw the ball with a little authority to first base. Maben
he can
really get down the line.
Yeah, he can scoot.
2 down, and now Miguel Cabrera. Malone pitching well here, and it's his first start in the 2nd half. He had an interesting All-Star break. Of course, he and his wife had their first child during the All-Star break. Oh, up and away, ball 1.
Cabrera was hitless in last night's game. He did have a walk, hitless again here tonight.
Driven deep to the right field corner, but slicing foul.
It just looked like he was trying to shoot the ball that way, and Miguel Cabrera, one of those gifted athletes that just doesn't swing hard, and yet the ball just jumps, and that just shows his hand strength. See this ball outer half, and he just went with it. He's not trying to come off that ball and pull it. He knows that he has the power to leave the ballpark in any part of it.
1-1 from Malone. Changeup gets a big swing and a miss. Bouncer to 3rd. Sano has a play. Throws low. What a pick at first by Mauer. Sano threw him a sinker across the diamond, and Mauer's come up with a couple of really nice fielding plays at first base here tonight. And Tommy Milone has another 1-2-3 inning. Matt Boyd last night, Sanchez here tonight have both done a very nice job.
Yeah, here's a guy that's really been struggling all year, but he has a season high 10 strikeouts already through 6 innings against the Twins. The Twins do lead the game 1-0 with the run that they scored in the 3rd inning, but Sanchez really feeling it tonight. You can almost see a difference in his demeanor out there, kind of getting that mojo going again. Hopefully the Twins can muster another rally here and get on the board.
Vargas takes a floater over for a strike, 77 miles per hour. Vargas called out on strikes in the 3rd, hit a ground ball to 2nd in the 4th. Pulled foul, 2 strikes. 10 strikeouts through 6 innings for Sanchez.
And ahead of the hitter again. He's just been on a roll of throwing first pitch strikes.
Back-to-back innings, all 6 outs have been on strikeouts. 1-2.
10 of the last 11 hitters first pitch strikes, so it works. Bruce Rondon, reliever, throwing in the Tiger bullpen.
And Vargas takes up 2-2.
You know, if you're Brad Ausmus or Paul Molitor, you've got to feel pretty good about your starter tonight. This has been another well-pitched game.
And now full count with Suzuki on deck. Full count to the Twins' designated hitter. And he took ball 4. And we'll see whether the Twins do anything with Vargas here in terms of a pinch runner. They're playing with the lead. They've got Santana, Rosario, Escobar, and Centeno as bench players, but it's the 7th inning, so Paul Molitor will leave Vargas in the game. He does not run well, of course.
100th pitch coming up now for Anibal. Yeah, this is a kind of a tough decision for Paul. You do have some better speed on the base pass, but will there be another at bat for Vargas? A power hitting situation that you might want him staying there. He's a switch hitter, which adds to his.
This ball hit to left, a base hit. Vargas will round second base and hold up there. And the Twins have a walk and a single to start the 7th inning.
Now this is probably an even tougher decision now for Paul with Vargas out there at second base. You're in scoring position.
Right. Brad Ausmus is going to come out and maybe make a pitching change. Quick trip to the mound by the Tiger manager. And Buxton a candidate to bunt. And the call will be made to Rondon to come in and face Byron Buxton. An encouraging night, to say the least, for Anibal Sanchez, who's really struggled. And he comes off the mound, having given up so far just 1 run. Single solitary run on the board.
Yeah, Eduardo Nunez hits a fly ball deep to center field. Suzuki scores after getting to third base on a base hit, his first hit of the game. Anibal Sanchez, a season high 10 strikeouts. He had kind of the mojo going. The Twins do have the only run of the game. Tommy Malone doing his part to keep the Twins in there himself, pitching probably his best game of the year for the Twins. And it's been all pitching. Now it'll be up to Bruce Rondon, the new Tiger pitcher, to replace Sanchez. Twins have 2 on and nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning.
Rondon, a hard thrower.
Yeah, he was really thought of as maybe the future closer for the Tigers, but hasn't quite worked out that way. He's found himself up and down a few times over the last couple of years.
In terms of physique, reminds me a lot of Juan Berenguer, who pitched both for the Tigers and the Twins. Buxton in what might be a bunting situation. Corner infielders are already pinching, and Buxton squares and takes ball 1.
Well, Paul's definitely trying to get the runners over. Have 2 runners in scoring position, then you get 2 more shots at maybe scoring both the runs. And Buxton's got to give himself up here, make sure that he gets the ball down and moves the runners over.
Up high, 2-0, reminding you again that Vargas doesn't run well, so it's got to be a pretty decent bunt. It's a force play at third if the bunt isn't put down well.
Yeah, you really want Nick Castellanos, the third baseman, to field this ball if you can.
Make him come in and field it.
That'll allow Vargas at least to get over to third base.
2-0. And bunted to Rondon, who flips to first. A sacrifice advancing both Vargas and Suzuki, and that'll almost certainly bring the infield in for Nunez.
A good job for Byron Buxton there. That's exactly what they wanted him to do, and he's going to get a congratulations from his teammates. That's a typical sacrifice bunt, moving the runners over.
Buxton, who made a nice catch in the outfield, now does his job, and he's setting up Nunez for a big hit. Tiger infield does not have to come all the way in, though, again because of Vargas's lack of speed. Nunez drove in the lone run of the game with a fly ball in the 3rd inning, and he'd like to do that again here at the very least. Fouled back, 1 strike.
100-mile-an-hour fastball. We just saw a note that Aroldis Chapman, the hard-throwing left-hander reliever for The New York Yankees was clocked at 105.1, wasn't it? That's sick. How'd you like to stand in there on that?
Oh, what a backhanded stop by McCann.
Yeah, that's not exactly how you're taught to get it, keep the ball in front of you, but when you throw that hard, sometimes you don't have time to react and get your body in front of it. He just reaches out, and thanks to good hands, is able to get the glove on it and keep Vargas from advancing.
Maybe because of the velocity, but you can see that he's not really down into a crouch. He's almost in a semi-crouch, or at least he was on that breaking ball. 1-1 to Nunez. And that got Jerry Lane. 1-2. Nunez struck out in the 5th inning. A bunt single in the 1st and the fly ball in the 3rd. Nunez's fly ball in the 3rd inning that drove in the run gave him the team lead in that category with 5. Fouled away. Now that doesn't sound like much, but hitters, they don't accidentally hit sacrifice flies. It does take some ability to get down and lift the ball out of the infield.
Well, especially at 101 mile an hour.
Right.
He's just trying to put the ball in play, really.
1-2 to Nunez. Got a piece. It was a fly ball that won the 1991 World Series. It fell for a hit because the outfield was in, but Gene Larkin took a pitch that was down around the knees and got the barrel underneath it and lifted it to left center field. Nunez trying to increase the Twins' lead here. 1-2 from Rondon. Nunez almost swung at it, then checked his, not so much his swing, but his body, and it's 2-2. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
You see this last pitch, it's a changeup, I believe. Ooh. It's a tough one for an umpire to call. When a guy's throwing 101 mile an hour fastballs and that borderline pitch up, it looked a lot higher than that Fox Tracks had it at.
Ground ball up the middle, and Nunez delivers. Vargas will score. Suzuki coming around, a great at bat for Nunez, and the Twins take a 3-0 lead.
That's some good hitting right there from Nunez. A tough battle at the plate. He had some tough pitches to hit, and then he gets one that he's able to shoot up the middle. See this last pitch, a pitcher's pitch, a breaking ball down and away, and he's able to just keep his eyes on the ball. He never ever did anything other than follow and track that baseball to the bat. That was a great shot by our camera crew to show his focus. Shoots that ball up the middle, scores 2 runs for the Twins.
Well, he takes off for second base, and the throw almost into center field. Nunez almost got deked by Kinsler. A stolen base for Nunez, who was thrown out in the 1st inning. And one of the things that makes Nunez so successful and such a good base stealer, a good success rate, even though he was thrown out in the 1st inning, but he goes early in the next at bat. That was one of the issues in the game last night in the 9th inning. Danny Santana finally went, but it was on a 3-2 pitch, and the Twins wanted Santana to go early in the at bat. 1 strike to Grossman, and now lifted foul, 2 strikes.
I don't think they cared whether it was early or late. They just wanted him to go, and unfortunately it was on the 3rd swing, so Dozier swung and missed, and there was a strikeout throw him out into the game. Runners are always told whenever you feel you can get the jump. A lot of times it's not necessarily, but the element of surprise, Nunez there, Rondon was not paying attention to him at all, and he just got a really good jump.
1-2 to Grossman. Leady runner at second. Grossman in position to add to the 3-0 lead. And now 2-2.
Grossman did get a base hit in the 3rd inning. He's sandwiched between a couple strikeouts. He's got 21 RBIs coming in today's game.
All 3 runs charged to Sanchez. And a pop-up foul and out of play. Nunez took a couple of hard steps toward third base. And had to put on the brakes.
Good half inning here for the Twins. Given Tommy Milone, who's pitched 6 shutout innings. Good baseball for the Twins. A little bit more run support. It always seems like when relievers come in and there's runners around the bases that the game slows down. Rondon not getting on the same page when DeCan finally gets his pitch.
Grossman, rarity for him. 3 strikeouts in the game, 2 down, and that'll bring up Mauer. Swing and a miss. Well, Mauer got an infield hit his last time up. Has hit 3 ground balls.
Joe's had opportunities in his first couple at bats to drive in runs. Now he has another opportunity with Nunez out there at second base, a good runner.
98 at the knees, strike 1.
When Joe Mauer has been hitting well, it doesn't matter how hard the guy throws. He makes the mistake. Joe doesn't seem to be bothered at all by the guy's velocity.
And 97 at the knees, and it's 0-2. Pop foul over the Tiger dugout. That one clocked here at 100 miles per hour. Ryan Presley getting loose. It's been a long half inning. Malone sailing along.
Yeah.
Sure looks like the Twins are ready to.
Well, I don't think it's a case where Malone's pitched well, and I don't think Paul's going to want him to get in any kind of trouble. 3 runs for the bullpen to work on. Could be more here.
They're going ball line to the left field corner and foul by inches.
That would have been an easy RBI for Paul or for Joe Mauer.
Just slicing wide of the line. About a foot, maybe. 2 strikes to Mauer. And now inside 1-2. Twins with a couple of hits, a couple of runs. They took a walk. Vargas did to start the inning. One and 2. And a base hit up the middle. A soft line drive into center. Nunez will score. Bauer drives in a run, and it's 4-0.
Well, he got in on him, and he probably jammed the heck out of him. Might even got his bat, but the bat died a hero. Found a hole out there in between short and second base, and Joe Mauer finally picks up an RBI.
Not hit well at all, obviously, but
big run.
Absolutely. Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, out to the mound. And Dozier will come to the plate with Mauer at first.
Brian trying to become the last Twin to reach base tonight. He's the only one that hasn't.
This run of strikeouts by Dozier, I'll take the blame for that, because over the weekend I was talking with Brian about cutting down on strikeouts, and said he's trying to develop a better two-strike approach. Worked a lot with Rod Carew in spring training about trying to, alter what you're doing. Try to make more consistent contact, and he's got 5 strikeouts in this series.
Twilight, black balls, shadows.
1 strike to Dozier. Bauer stole a base in the 6th inning. High fly to deep left field. Going back is Upton, and Dozier has gone deep, and the Twins have a 5-run 7th inning. And
Big hit.
Bruce Rondon having a rough outing here in relief of Anibal Sanchez.
That ball was hit very, very high, but Brian Dozier benefiting from the velocity of the pitcher there, and the ball carried extremely well into the bullpen. And the Twins now have a comfortable 5-run lead, 6-run lead.
First 2 runs charged to Sanchez, and in 2/3 of an inning, Rondon gives up 3 runs charged to him. And another pitching change here in the 7th inning, with the Twins opening up a 6-0 lead. Run pace that they took into the All-Star break, running into some pretty good pitching in the Cleveland series, but still a chance, an outside chance they might hit 200 home runs this year.
Yeah, there's 67th with that one right there for Brian Dozier. A big crooked number here in the 7th inning. 5-run inning so far for the Twins, and it sure makes the outing from Tommy Milone look that much better. Nunez with a big hit, Mauer with an RBI, Dozier with a 2-run home run there.
And now Alex Wilson will pitch next out of the Detroit bullpen, pitching to Miguel Sano, 1 for 3 with a double and 2 strikeouts. Big swing and a miss. And on the outside corner, 0-2.
Alex Wilson has been one of those pitchers that a lot like Ryan Presley is for the Twins, that manager Brad Ausmus depends on almost on a daily basis out of the bullpen. Very durable.
Pitch inside off the plate. Somehow Sano pushed a pop-up to Kinsler to end the inning. The inning started with a Vargas walk, and the Twins got some clutch hits along the way and a Dozier home run to put 5 more on the board.
Twins. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Well, Tommy Milone, with the lead growing to 6-0, will get a chance to at least start the 7th inning. He'll face Victor Martinez, Nick Castellanos, and Justin Upton. Twins scored 5 runs, worked through 2 pitching changes within the inning. And we'll see how sharp Milone is. You can see 68 pitches through 6 innings. And he tickles the outside corner, strike 1.
It couldn't have been a better game so far for Tommy Milone. Twins finally giving him the run support. It's been a close game that he's been able to still pitch the same way through. And getting ahead in counts a lot like Sanchez did.
He's given up just 1 hit. It was a clean leadoff single to left by James McCann. He issued a leadoff walk in the 5th. Had to pitch around a 1-out error in the 1st. That's been it. 1-2. Velasco just gave up a home run to Upton in last night's game. That's the only run that was scored last night.
Yeah, the Tigers were just 3 hits last night, only 1 here tonight. So Twins pitching has been very good. Unfortunately, they lost the game last night. Ricky deserved better.
Popped up back and out of play, and that was the biggest issue in the first 6 games between these 2 teams. You know, just 1 game in the 6th where the Tigers scored less than 6 runs.
Yeah, a totally different story. But the series so far has been very well pitched for the Twins.
And now 2-2.
I find it interesting right here. This is a fun matchup to watch. Tommy's got a good lead, and he's been pitching well. He gets 2 quick strikes on Victor, and he's trying to get a professional hitter to swing out of the zone. It's not going to happen.
And now 3-2.
And when I say professional hitter, I respect Victor Martinez so much for grinding out at bats. He never gives away an at bat. He makes outs. He's human. He's not Superman, but it seems like his focus is well and beyond a lot of the hitters in the game today.
And Martinez has drawn a walk. Second leadoff walk issued by Tommy Milone.
Well, Tommy Malone's been pitching very, very well tonight. You can see the location of a lot of these pitches. He's been getting ahead. He's fielded his position well, which is always a part. The defensive played very good behind him. Kind of flirting with a little trouble here to start off the bottom of the 7th by a leadoff walk. Now one of the Tiger better hitters this year, Nick Castellanos, coming to the plate.
A strikeout and a ground ball to short. Malone's gotten a lot of ground ball outs here. Missing inside, ball 1. With Presley warmed up, the Twins won't let anything develop here before making a pitching change. Malone got ahead of Martinez and then lost him to a walk. Swing and a foul, 1-1.
Again, I just can't remember the last time Tommy Milone was in such great position with his pitch count. Here it is, the 7th inning. He's averaged about 11 pitches per inning, which is outstanding.
Coming into this game with back-to-back wins, one against Oakland, one against Texas, and a July ERA that's descending down to about a run and a half.
It's a ground ball here.
2-1.
And I bet that if he walks Castellanos, it might be the end of his night. He's still got to challenge hitters. He's got 6 runs to work with. Make a strike, try to keep it off the middle of the zone, but don't start nibbling. Don't think that you can't make pitches. Defense has been on their toes tonight. Force that hitter to hit the ball somewhere.
Now 3-1. Pitches this inning, just 3 strikes. Liner to Nunez and a bluff throw to first. There have been a few of those. Kinsler hit a liner to Grossman leading off the 6th. It's a second line drive that Nunez has caught, but one away in the 7th.
Well, just my point right there. Throw the ball over. You never know. I mean, you got it working tonight. Gets a line drive right at Nunez. Almost gets Victor to double off, but he's not going anywhere anyway with his speed, so stays close to the bag.
Here's Upton. Hit a soft line drive back to the mound, knocked down by Malone in the 2nd. Then he drew a leadoff walk in the 6th. High fly center field. A lot of room out there. Buxton back and making the catch. 420 plus feet away.
Deepest part of this ballpark right there in left center field. But Byron Buxton showing what a great defensive player he is. Made a great play earlier in this game to literally run down and out and end an inning, and this time goes all the way to the warning track, 420 feet away, and Tommy Milone gets 2 outs.
Upton reacted like he thought he might have hit one out there, but how many of those 440-foot fly balls to center did you give up?
A few. All you have to do is go into that other booth over there and talk to my former teammate Kirk Gibson, who's doing the game for the Tigers tonight. And he'll remind you that I rattled around the bleachers in the upper deck at Tiger Stadium a few times.
Well, I mean, out to center field, though, 440 feet to straightaway center, and it was an out.
And that was the lower deck. I just said I gave up a few in the upper deck.
I still maintain the hardest ball I've ever seen hit. There's Kirk Gibson.
Yeah.
Hardest ball I've ever seen hit was Cecil Fielder hitting one out against Rick Aguilera to straightaway center field, and I swear the ball never got more than 25 feet in the air. That ball was absolutely mashed.
Well, the same guy hit the farthest ball that my eyes have ever seen. Hit it out of Tiger Stadium in left field. And only Harmon Killebrew had ever gone on the roof. He hit it over the roof.
Right.
So tremendous strength that Cecil had. I wish he was around in today's game during the home run derby.
Oh my!
Because with his swing and the Super Bowls that they put into play for the show, it would be incredible to watch.
Blocked by Suzuki, 1 and 2. Well, a lot of balls cleared the right field, over the right field fence and out of the ballpark, but I think Harmon Killebrew, and I want to say Frank Howard did it too, and Cecil was only the third man to do that.
There's Big Daddy, Cecil Fielder, Prince Fielder's father.
1 and 2. And a nice recovery by Tommy Malone. Ended up issuing a walk to Martinez, but got the next 3 batters, a line drive, a deep fly to center, and then a strikeout of Aviles.
Yeah, it's going to be an unusual road trip for me, but I will be doing a couple Tiger games in Chicago, so not heading to the Beantown.
I'll be working with Roy Smalley in Boston while Bert Blyleven is in Cooperstown. Max Kepler to lead things off against Kyle Ryan, the 4th Detroit pitcher here tonight. Kepler, Vargas, and Suzuki to face Ryan. Checked his swing, and it's 2-0.
You can see Kyle Ryan is one of those guys that throws across his body. He steps towards first base and then sidearms it a little bit across his body. Tough for left-handers. Ball's coming from a really good angle. A real tight angle.
Foul back. Kepler got a Pitch up and in, and spun it to the screen.
And there's the numbers for Kyle Ryan this year. Pitched in a lot of ball games already. Something Twins fans are kind of used to, the bullpen having to pick up those starters.
Yeah.
Just the way the game has evolved.
Cracked his bat and a bouncer to Kinsler. Quick flip off target, and Cabrera has to tag Kepler in the chest. 1 away. Praise FM invites you to Faith Night 2016, a post-game event following the August 13th game between the Twins and the Kansas City Royals. You can enjoy the game and then stay for post-game live worship music and appearances by Brian Dozier, Kyle Gibson, and other special guests. I think it was last night. I wondered whether the players would provide any music, and I was reminded via Twitter that Brian Dozier in the past has played his guitar as part of the worship on the field. Yeah.
I told you.
Details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/faithnight. One strike to Vargas. Threw a walk that opened up the 5-run 7th.
Kyle Gibson on the left, Brian Dozier in the middle there.
And Robbie Grossman. Twins getting back to the form they showed against the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers right before the break, with 6 runs up on the board, 5 coming in 1 inning. Vargas takes down and in, 2-1.
Evan Santana will go against Justin Verlander in tomorrow's matinee getaway day.
A deep fly to center, and going back is Maben. And that's out number 2. Now, we will not be televising tomorrow. But here's the matchup brought to you by CenturyLink. Evan Santana's had some better starts as of late. Verlander has seemingly regained his fastball.
He had a very good start his last time out, won a game, went deep into the game, and had 10+ strikeouts again. He's done that so many times for the Tigers.
2 more hits and 2 runs scored for Kurt Suzuki. He's now hitting at .290. We're talking about the catching situation, whether Suzuki would be trade candidate by the Twins, but the Twins still are struggling to develop major league ready catching. Juan Centeno is the backup. John Ryan Murphy for a few weeks was swinging the bat well, but now he's struggled again offensively. And the presumption was that by now Murphy would maybe supplant Suzuki as the regular catcher. And instead, Murphy's spent most of the year at AAA. Suzuki wasn't hitting the first 2 months, but now he's approaching the 300 mark.
That's interesting. Catching is the one position where young players can get to the big leagues the quickest. It's the most demanding of all. Their careers are the shortest. And it seems like everybody's always looking for catching just as hard as they are for pitching.
And so I don't know how the Twins are going to play it out with Suzuki. They could trade him. They could not trade him. They could re-sign him, because I don't know that as you look ahead to 2017, there's an heir apparent to be the regular catcher for the Twins. 3-1.
Well, he has a track record now for the Twins. You know what he's about. You know, he's having a nice surge here in the middle of the season. Been hitting well. A couple knocks tonight, a couple runs scored. And he's a tough kid. He gets banged up a lot behind the plate, but he somehow gets through it.
Kurt's contract is up after this year. And he's swinging the bat now like he did 2 years ago when he made the All-Star team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. You know, veteran catcher, you know, probably on the backside of his career, the truth be said, but still being productive.
Full count. And a bouncer to third. Castellanos has to wait. And a throw across close play. Suzuki clipped at first, and it's a 1-2-3-8 for Ryan. Nothing. Tigers will hit in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be McCann, Iglesias, and Kinsler.
Just good to see Tommy Milone taking the mound in the 8th inning. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's really been effective tonight.
The hit came off the bat of James McCann, leading off the 3rd. A solid, clean single to left. Strike 1. Ryan Presley was warmed up, but Milone pitched a hitless 7th. 1-1.
Well, the reason he's going out there is look at the pitch count.
Yeah.
88 pitches, and he was in the 8th inning.
Swing and a miss. One and 2. And that one tails away, taken for ball 2. Poked down the left field line toward the corner. Grossman running over, and a foul ball, and he did not make the catch. Sprawling as he crossed the foul line.
Like Target Field, there's just not a lot of room down in the corners, and the outfielders can run out of room. They've got a wall coming up just past the foul line when they're charging after a ball that's borderline fair or foul. Good effort there by Robbie Grossman, and then banging into the wall. The padding, thank goodness that baseball installed that years ago.
Two and 2. Still 2 and 2. called, third strike. McCann called out on strikes, first out of the 8th inning.
Fourth strikeout for Tommy, but more importantly, the first out of the inning. And I don't know what happened. McCann just locked up. That ball down, middle half of the plate, split the plate in half. And Jerry Lane looks at the guy that's standing in front of him and protecting him all night and saying, you got to swing at that.
One down, and here's Iglesias. Strike called at the knees. 94 pitches, 62 strikes for Tommy Milone. Little pop up, and Milone on the mound makes the catch.
Oh boy, Bert would be proud of that one, wouldn't he?
2 down. Fox Sports supports the Grand Slam dinner benefiting Boys and Girls Clubs of the Twin Cities Sunday, August 14th. Great food at the Capitol Grill in downtown Minneapolis. You can join your hosts Brian and Renee Dozier for a 4-course meal served by your favorite Twins players. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details.
Fun night. You know how you record that last out? That's a Grand Prix.
Grand Prix?
Yeah, F1.
Oh, okay.
Huh? Formula One.
And pulled foul, 1 strike. I just put F1.
I can remember so many times that I'm in position to field the ball in the infield, a fly ball, and I get guys yelling, "Get out of the way! I got it! It's like, who catches more balls during batting practice than pitchers?
Right.
Nobody. If I can't catch a fly ball, why are you yelling at me?
Driven to right at Kepler. Tommy Milone with 8 innings of shutout ball, allowing just 1 run.
Outstanding.
It looks like he is done, having given up just 1 hit through 8 innings. The Twins Flex Plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. You can choose in advance or even the day of the game, so don't plan. Flex Plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. Byron Buxton will lead off the 9th for the Twins against Mark Lowe.
Sixth pitcher for the Tigers tonight. Mark Lowe's going to try to mop this one up in the 9th inning. His 35th appearance for Detroit. He's really had a tough year himself. You can see that extremely high ERA.
And it'll be Buxton, Nunez, and Grossman. Buxton with a pop fly single in the 3rd, a strikeout, and then he dropped down a sacrifice bunt that helped the Twins to a 5-run 7th. Strike 1. 1-1. And bounced foul, 1-2. Buxton's sacrifice in the 7th advanced Vargas to third, Suzuki to second, brought the infield in. And then Nunez hit one right up the middle. He didn't hit it particularly hard, and it might have gone up the middle even with the infield at regular depth. But Nunez had a great at bat, was able to put the ball in play on the ground, and took the score from 1-0 to 3-0. Big pop up near second base. And Kinsler with the catch, one away. And that'll bring up Eduardo Nunez.
Yeah, those are the little things that sometimes really go unnoticed, but unselfish, getting the job done. His last at bat, Buxton gets a sacrifice bunt, and the Twins would go on to score 5 runs. Have that big crooked number that you always hope to have offensively, and really has put a hush over this crowd here at Comerica Park tonight after that half inning.
Nunez with 2 hits and a sacrifice fly, a stolen base. And he takes ball 1. Strike called, 1-1. 32,030 the paid attendance tonight. Tigers are in danger of dropping a game back further to the Indians. They picked up a game yesterday, but Indians leading the Royals 8-0. And another strike called, 1-2. Nunez strikes out, 2 away. I'll bring up Robbie Grossman. Grossman's been pretty good about making contact, and tonight a single and 3 strikeouts. And all 3 of the strikeouts were against Anibal Sanchez.
There's a dozen strikeouts for the Twins tonight, even though they have the 6-0 lead.
And Grossman out in front, strike 1. And now 1-1. Two.
These are the games that it's kind of hard to be the reliever sometimes coming in. You're going to get some work in. You're hoping to work on your command and having quick outs. No activity in the Twins bullpen, which would indicate that maybe Tommy Milone's going to get a chance for a shutout, a complete game here tonight. That'd be fun to watch.
And Grossman strikes out. 4th strikeout tonight for Grossman, and the Twins will take a 6-0 lead to the bottom of the 9th. The last time Tommy Milone pitched a major league complete game, it was here at Comerica Park back in 2013. He was still with the Oakland A's at the time, and he pitched a 3-hitter that day, and he has a chance to do that significantly better here tonight. He's given up just 1 hit, and he misses on the first pitch of the bottom of the 9th inning to Cameron Maben.
Well, he's doing it the right way in this day and age. Look at the pitch count. 98 pitches to start the 9th inning. 2 pitches in now at 99. But he's been very, very efficient, and possibly the best game we've ever seen Tommy Milone pitch in a Twins uniform.
And a base hit up the middle. Maben starts it with a single. The last Twins pitcher to pitch a 1-hit complete game was Scott Baker back in 07. And in that game, he took a perfect game into the 9th inning. He walked John Buck, and then Mike Sweeney got a base hit with 1 out in the 9th. And Baker went on to win the ball game 5-0. Now Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera's hit 3 ground balls against Milone. And a strike called, and Suzuki had a hard time catching the pitch. 0-1.
Suzuki shaking his head like maybe it hit off the heel of his glove or something. A lot of times the catcher will peek down at the first base runner. Maben's got good speed. Maybe he was looking at him, wondering if he was going to steal. Took a little of the focus off his glove.
A base hit to left, and the Tigers start the 9th with a pair of hits. Only 1 hit through 8 innings. Now just a handful of pitches into the 9th, and the Tigers have 2 hits this inning alone. And now Victor Martinez.
Well, unfortunately, that's going to get some activity down the Twins' pen. It'd probably be Presley, who's been up already. It could be Brandon Kinsler, the closer. It is Kinsler, I guess.
And I would think Milone has 1 more base runner slack, if you will. If he gets Martinez, he might get a chance to pitch to Castellanos.
I'm just pulling that he can get through this inning, get the shutout. You just don't get that many chances at the major leagues at any point in life to watch a complete game shutout anymore. It's just a wonderful thing, in my opinion.
Missing inside to Victor Martinez. Drew a walk his last time up, 0 for 2 with a ground ball to third and a liner to short.
Twins playing Victor around the third base side. The shift on. Dozier over there on the third base side of second base. Only Mauer on the right side.
Swing and a miss. 1-1.
You can almost see Victor trying to go to the right side with that pitch. A little late on it, but Victor is not afraid to try to beat the shift.
Tommy Milone's never had a major league shutout.
Well, then get a couple outs here quick, would you?
2-1. He had 1 minor league shutout last year for Rochester. Two and 1. That is a fair ball right over the bag. There goes the shutout with Maben scoring. And 3 hits greet Milone here in the 9th inning.
You know, it's amazing because it's sort of a baseball rule, or unwritten rule, that you play in preventative defense, meaning no doubles. In other words, third baseman and first baseman are barred in the line. Look at how close Miguel Sano was guarding that line, and yet Victor Martinez was able to put it behind between him and the third baseline. Victor not running well, so he stays at first base, but he drives in that 1 run.
It wasn't, but if it was hit at Sano, Twins might have had a triple play. That ball was hit sharply. And instead, it went into the left field corner for an RBI single, and now Castellanos. Fouled away, 1 strike.
See how far off the bag Miguel Sano is. The ball goes right over the bag. Third base umpire Hunter Windelstead is right there on top of it and rules it fair.
1 strike to Castellanos. And now 2 strikes. Malone with just 4 strikeouts. He'll take one here. He'd love to get a double play grounder. Popped up right field. Cabrera doesn't run well. Kepler's got a pretty good arm. Down 5 runs. Well, they're going to go ahead and send Cabrera, and Kepler throws to second base. A sacrifice fly, but more importantly for the Twins, an out.
Well, that's the right thing for Max Kepler to do. He knew it right away. Miguel Cabrera sensed it, so he tags up and scores. I'm not saying that if the game's on the line, Kepler doesn't make a throw there. And Paul Mahler is going to come out, unfortunately, and take Tommy Malone out of the game. But a great effort for Tommy tonight.
So Kinsler will come in. And things should be okay as long as he doesn't face Kinsler. In a non-save situation in a 6-2 game, the Twins closer comes in. To get his first big league shutout. That didn't work out. He leaves the ball game having given up a couple of runs. And now Brandon Kinsler. This is not a save situation. The tying run is not in the on-deck circle, but he'll try to close out the game nonetheless.
Well, it's still an important situation. Paul Mahler going to his closer right here. He needs 2 outs to help the Twins beat the Tigers for the first time this year. Tommy Malone, great effort tonight. Gives up just 4 hits and 8 1/3 innings of work, 4 strikeouts, a pair of walks. And he's going to watch to see if Kinsler can end this game for him so he can walk away with a win, his 3rd win in a row.
Upton 0 for 2. He drew one of the walks issued by Malone. Kinsler, a sinker ball pitcher, has done very well. The only number that's a bit alarming, the 4 home runs he has given up in just 27 innings, which is a high number for a sinker baller. But he does get ground ball outs, and if he gets one here, he might get a game-ending double play. Strike on the outside corner. plate 1-1. Malone trying to make it 3 wins in a row in July. On the outside corner again. We've seen from Kinsler for the most part. Throwing strikes and quality strikes like the one you just saw, down and away.
He's really been good at living on the outer part of the plate to right-handers, getting ahead and painting the outside corner. Going to go with the slider here.
Blocked nicely by Suzuki, and just what we saw of Upton earlier in the year, that might very well have been a pitch he would have swung at earlier in the season.
Well, he was in a whole different frame of mind.
2 strikes, you could just throw it towards home plate. It seemed like he was going to swing at it.
And miss.
2-2 now. And a base hit to right field. Victor Martinez to second base, and that'll bring Aviles to the plate. Tigers with just 1 hit through 8 innings, and they've strung together 4 singles here in the 9th.
We saw this last night from Justin Upton, not trying to do too much. He just reaches out there and shoots that ball. Big hole on the right side. With Dozier kind of playing at double play depth, he would be the guy to handle the ball.
Aviles 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. At the knees, strike 1. Saw Kinsler's opponent batting average .218 coming into this appearance. And just 2 walks. Ooh, he left a pitch up, and Aviles fouled it to the screen. So you take the 22 hits and the 2 walks in 27 innings coming into the game. That's a sub-1 whip. Walk and hits per innings pitched.
It just equates to a guy that Paul Molitor has pretty much depended on as his closer. He's
2 strikes.
Evolved into that role.
All ball. Twins have had some great closers, and they've been strikeout closers, and Kinsler isn't that with just the 17 strikeouts in the 27 innings. 1-2 to Aviles. Chopper, and Suzuki catches and throws, and Mauer digs it out, but Aviles beats it out, and the Tigers will bring the tying run to the plate.
So familiar with that play. There was a guy that I saw do that more than any other hitter in my career. He is now the manager of the Minnesota Twins. This ball hit right off the plate. Ball's in the air. Now watch what happens. Suzuki's calling for it, but Kinsler gets in his way. He's got to throw over the top of his body. He's fumbling the ball, and then that causes him to throw offline and not have the strength to throw the ball hard enough. Aviles doing what he's supposed to do, hustling down the line. Base is loaded here now.
McCann at the plate. He, prior to this inning, had the only Tiger hit. Back in the 3rd inning. And Kinsler gets ahead. Kirby Puckett got a few of those hits too.
Oh yeah.
Chopped off the plate in that hard dirt.
The Twins had a lot of those
Yeah.
type of hits.
They really packed the dirt in front of home plate at the Metrodome very hard for that purpose. Fouled away, 2 strikes. The only out this inning, Castellanos' sacrifice fly to Kepler in right. the bench players for the Tigers: Collins, Romine, and Saltalamacchia. Saltalamacchia hit a big walk-off home run here a couple days ago. He's a switch hitting catcher. And he, like McCann, hitting right around 200. Saltalamacchia's got a little more pop in his bat. And a strikeout of McCann for out number 2.
Huge out, absolutely huge out right there. A good pitch for Brandon Kinsler. Let's watch the pitch by pitch. He starts him off with a high fastball, strike 1. And he goes on the outside corner. McCann fouls it off, ball away, fastball away, and comes back with a good breaking ball that had a little bit of, maybe he took a little off of it. Looked like McCann was out front, gets a strikeout.
Here is Iglesias. Back foul. That was mostly joking. When Kinsler was being brought into the game, I said everything will be just fine as long as Kinsler doesn't have to pitch to Kinsler. And it's turned out to be true. If Iglesias is retired here, all is well. And if not, Kinsler and the Twins have some issues.
Well, there's still a chance that they could pitch to Kinsler and get a win. But
2 strikes to Iglesias.
why bother with him when we can end the game right here?
I think I can speak for all of our viewers, Jack Morris. There isn't anybody watching right now who wants that to happen. Oh, and 2. Right down the middle. And Kinsler won't get the save, but he will finish off an important ball game for the Twins and Tommy Milone.
Well, just freezing Iglesias there. Let's look at the pitch by pitch to the last batter, Jose Iglesias. Fastball, it's just able to get a little piece of it, foul it off. He goes up in the zone with another fastball. And then this one just tails back over the plate, starts on the outer half, tails back over. Iglesias just confused on that one. Strike 3, ending the ball game. And Tommy Milone, great job, picks up the win.
Well, Anthony LaPanta, the Twins got 2 wonderfully pitched ball games by their starting pitchers. And Tommy Milone now has won 3 straight in the month of July.